Welcome back. So, in this part of our explainer on the Virtualization Options LLC report, we are shifting from theory into practice. Today, we're opening up the detective's toolkit. We're going to give you the exact clues to look for to figure out what a company really cares about.
Okay, let's dive right in with the big question. What a company puts on its glossy mission statement and what it actually does every single day, well, those can be two completely different things. Our job as detectives is to find the truth that's hiding in the data.
So, here's our game plan. We're going to look at these 6 key areas to build our case, starting with the high level philosophy and drilling right down into the nitty gritty of how decisions get made. All right, first up, before we can even start looking for clues, we have to know what we're looking for, right? So let's clearly define the 2 competing philosophies that can drive a company, a focus on shareholders versus a focus on customers. So on one side, you've got the classic shareholder first model. It's totally laser focused on this quarter's stock price. But on the other side, you have the customer first model. And that one is betting that happy, loyal customers are the real path to long-term success. Our mission here is to figure out which one of these is actually in the driver's seat.
Okay, now for our first set of hard evidence. Let's follow the money. As Chapter 3 of the report points out, a company's financial statements are like a treasure trove of clues about its deepest, truest priorities.
And here is our first piece of evidence, a high dividend payout. A number like, say, 35% of all profits going directly back to investors, that is a huge signal. It means that money is not being reinvested into R&D, it's not improving the customer experience, and it's not training employees. It's a really clear sign of a shareholders first, right now kind of mentality. And here's the next clue. Massive spending on share buybacks. We're talking tens of billions of dollars. Now, this is a purely financial move designed to do one thing and one thing only: reduce the number of shares out there to make the remaining ones more valuable. It's all about boosting the stock price. It creates absolutely zero new value for the people who actually use the product.
A rigid return on invested capital target can be a silent killer of innovation. So many fantastic, customer-pleasing ideas that would pay off big time in the long run just get rejected because they can't clear a really high short-term financial hurdle.
And this is the smoking gun. When up to 90% of a leadership team's pay is tied directly to how the stock performs, well, what kind of behaviors are you really incentivizing? It means every single decision gets filtered through the lens of, how is this going to impact the share price this quarter?
Okay, let's move on to the next set of clues and see how this all builds. We've looked at the financial data, now let's look at the human data. What are the customers and the employees actually telling us?
In a truly customer-focused company, the boardroom conversation just sounds different. Metrics like Net Promoter Score and customer retention aren't just some fluffy afterthoughts. No way. They're debated with the exact same intensity as the quarterly P&L statement. The report really emphasizes that your own colleagues are a key signal. High employee engagement and trust in leadership, or what we call leading indicators. Why? Well, it's pretty simple. Happy, empowered employees are the ones who create great experiences for customers. Now, this slide perfectly illustrates that customer-first philosophy. It's not a straight line. It's a virtuous cycle. It shows that long-term shareholder value is the result of a healthy culture, not the initial goal. And that simple shift, it completely reorders the entire business equation. Budgets? They're moral documents. Seriously, forget the speeches, forget the posters on the wall. Where a company spends its money reveals its soul with brutal honesty. Just a quick glance at a customer-focused budget tells the whole story. The biggest chunks of money are flowing to product innovation and improving the customer experience. This isn't just about managing this quarter's costs, it's about actively funding the engine of future growth. This comparison just lays it all out, doesn't it? One mindset sees people and new ideas as costs to be minimized. The other sees them as the core assets of the business, totally worthy of significant and continuous investment. Okay. This is the climax of our investigation. It's not just about the metrics or the money. It's about the process. How does an important choice actually get made in this company? Look at where the customer-first decision path begins. It starts with the customer's reality. It starts with deep research into what they actually need. This is the complete opposite of a process that starts with some financial target and then tries to work backward to justify it. And this question from the report? It is a fantastic acid test. Real innovation requires the psychological safety to experiment and to fail. If failure gets punished, you can be absolutely sure that risk-averse, shareholder-driven thinking has completely choked out any real chance of breakthrough ideas.
So, you've gathered all the clues, you've followed the money, you've listened to the people, and you've analyzed the decision-making process. Now, it's time to put it all together and render a verdict.
So here's your final checklist. When you look at your own company or maybe one you're thinking of joining, lay out the evidence you've gathered. Are decisions driven by short-term ROI or by long-term customer impact? Are people treated as costs to be cut or assets to be invested in? The column that fills up faster, that's going to tell you the company's true story. Ultimately, this isn't just theory. This toolkit is about understanding the environment that shapes your career, your stress levels, and your ability to do truly great work. Now you have the tools from the report to stop guessing and start knowing. So what story does your workplace tell?